Yeah, go ahead.
I'm the podcast pro.
Sure.
3 whole podcasts.
3 whole podcasts.
3 whole podcasts I own
And you
and
think
run.
you're the man. All right.
Think. Let me turn you up on my thing. Cool. Now you're gonna deafen me. Ladies and gentle fish. Ladies with gentle hands. Wrestling fans around the world. Welcome to the first installment, the first episode actually released of the Down the Ramp podcast with Carter and Ryan. This is going to be your fix of wrestling content, your fix of just wrestling, your fix of anything to do with the world of professional athletic wrestling.
Yeah.
Now, quick little rundown of what this is. This is actually technically our second episode recorded of this podcast, except that one never went up because that was back when AEW had CM Punk.
That was also when it was basically just like COVID was still kind of going around a little bit.
That was a year ago. God damn, we recorded that. I think I deleted it off my channel. It's actually supposed to go up on my personal channel, but we ended up deciding because of the new brand of Concession Stand Network, we decided to create the Down the Ramp pod, recreate, rebrand, redo, whatever you want to call it. We decided to remake the Down the Ramp podcast and throw it onto the Concession Stand Network, not only YouTube channel, but also Spotify. How fun. So with that being said, welcome to Down the Ramp podcast. My name's Carter. I'm joined by my friend Ryan. Actually, ironically, we have the same shirts. We don't. I'd actually hold on. I might actually have that shirt somewhere.
Hold up. He's pulling out the shirt now. All right.
Oh wait, no, maybe I don't. Maybe it's getting. It might be in the wash.
Oh.
I remember having it. I think I showed you. Anyways, you can go check my channel somewhere on the whatever. So the first installment episode, the first not weekly, definitely not weekly. We're too busy for that. Like I got my weekly podcast that may lucky for monthly. Real lucky for monthly. The first episode of the Down the Ramp podcast with Carter and Ryan. This is being recorded. It's actually probably going to be released later today. Being released the day of The Rock being appointed.
Big news.
The Rock being appointed on the board of directors of TKO. By the way, he is the head of the table. What else happened today? Raw was last night.
Should he sit at the booth or should he sit at the head of the table?
He's at the head of the table. We know he is. What else do we have today? Netflix.
We have a lot of things.
We have a lot. Netflix buys out Netflix buys out Raw. Well, I want to stop and talk about that for a second real quick.
We'll start with that, right?
$5 billion.
$5 billion.
That is insane how much it is.
I mean that's a typical thing for Netflix, but you know what? It's insane regardless.
So here's the questions that come with it. You have Netflix, which is the streaming service for those who have been living under a rock or, haven't left their parents' basement in 45 years.
Don't have TV.
Netflix.
That's okay.
If you don't have TV and you're watching YouTube, you guys should really get on watching some TV. Netflix, of course, the streaming service that was actually started out kind of like a DVD. How to start? It started like a DVD rental, kind of like a Redbox.
Yeah,
but they would mail it in. Then as Blockbuster, if any of you remember, Blockbuster was being bought out or was going bankrupt. Blockbuster offered to be be bought out by. Or Netflix offered to be bought up by Blockbuster so they can make some more money. Blockbuster said no because it's not worth it to have a subscription service. How times have changed. No wonder there's one Blockbuster left and too much Netflix. Anyways, Netflix buys out Monday Night Raw for $5 billion. First off, if I can dream, I wish, there's so much.
But that will come to effect in 2025. That is when the Netflix deal will start.
Yeah, so January 2025, Netflix deal starts. here's two questions, two real big questions. I'm gonna start with the one that kind of we will need an answer to soon. USA ends like November. October. Their deal ends with November, October with Monday Night Raw. Then they take effect of SmackDown, but that's until like 2026.
I'll have that on Fridays.
That's 2026. During that 2-3 month gap, what is Raw going to be on? Now, keep in mind, we're Canadian. For those who don't know, we are Canadian, so we have Sportsnet, and that's it. So we're safe. We're safe. But for the American crowd, I'm gonna move my mic. I'm too bad at that. But for the
American crowd, for the Hankinators and everyone else.
Yeah, for the Hankinators and everyone else, what channel is it going to be continuing on USA? Are they going to have a little, like, maybe just put it on the network or Peacock for a little bit?
That could be
what are the options? ESPN but even that, if it was ESPN, they would be having it for a long time. So what is happening?
Especially later on, like in 2025, 2026, I'm guaranteeing that there's going to be a bidding war between Netflix and Peacock over who has the entire thing.
I wouldn't. Maybe Amazon in there too, because Amazon definitely, they have the endless money to shell.
They do. It could be nuts if they do.
But with that being said, where does it end? Second question.
Who knows where?
So you have a good 2-3 month gap between programs. The realistic answer is WWE will just pay to put it on USA until January 2025. Easiest answer is that, hey, can we just extend our contract for, we'll pay you. Second question, how is Raw going to be distributed? Or is it going to be where you have, it live streamed on Netflix? Is it going to be like a channel that you can get on your TV? Or is it going to be where they just release it at 8:00 every Monday and you can watch it anytime and they have the entire library of Raw? What is going to happen with that?
You never even know with that one. There's a lot that could come up with that, and it could be live, it could be just streamed, it could be anything.
I think the realistic answer is they're going to incorporate a streaming kind of like, they incorporate a streaming section to it where you actually stream it live and you can stream it to your phone live and whatever. But I know I was looking when the news broke, I was looking at the comments on Twitter and people like, so you're going to make me pay an extra $20, like Canadian, American, whatever, an extra so much money for a streaming service only to watch wrestling. On top of that, this was basically a free product. If you had the channels, whatever, on TV, if you had the TV channels, it was basically a included free product. Now I'm going to have to pay if I don't already have a Netflix, or I cancel my Netflix subscription because there's so much controversy around Netflix alone. Now we're going to have Netflix and I'm going to re-download and re-get Netflix, re-subscribe to Netflix just to watch Raw. On top of that, I have to now subscribe to Peacock. Again, this is all the States. We have a WWE Network and Sportsnet. But for the States, then you also have to subscribe to Peacock to watch any like pay-per-view, to watch any PLE. What that is the question that needs to be answered most. Where no commercials, by the way. Netflix doesn't have commercials. So unless they're just going to add commercials for their own products, then okay. Or maybe just WWE products, okay. But
Actually, it's a good thing you bring that up right now, because there was actually a report on that, courtesy of the good old people at Fightful Wrestling.
Love Fightful.
Reported that Netflix subscribers on standard no ad plans are not going to get ads during Raw.
How much is a no ad plan? I might have that actually.
I think you have that.
I
Yeah.
probably have it, but it's
On the standard no ad plan, no ads during Raw.
so. Here's the thing. Here's my question for Canadian WWE: are we still going to get on Sportsnet? I know we're getting it on Netflix, but are we still going to get on Sportsnet? If not,
I would assume so.
There goes a lot. Maybe not a lot, but there goes a good chunk of Canadian WWE's revenue. It's through Sportsnet, being the sole provider of Raw and SmackDown in Canada, other than the WWE network. But that's their own. But being like, are we losing that? What's going on with that? Sportsnet? Are we done with Sportsnet? Like, if Sportsnet all of a sudden now everything's on subscription, do we even need the Sportsnet channels?
Never know.
We never know.
Never know. We'll just have to wait and see on that.
What was the next point you wanted to bring up?
So the next point, you talked about it earlier, but Mr. Dwayne Johnson, Dwayne The Rock Johnson, has been put on the board of directors for TKO, which, if you don't know what TKO is the big conglomerate, giant corporation that owns both the WWE and the UFC. So wrestling and UFC, MMA, boxing, stuff like that.
Right.
So Dwayne Johnson is now on the board of directors and also has been given full permission and full trademark to his WWE name, The Rock.
Here's the thing with that. It will not surprise me if you see Project Rock, like the line of merch he has. Actually, this shirt right here. Super overpriced, by the way, but it's quality. I like it. It wouldn't surprise me if you start seeing The Rock on Project Rock, and you start seeing like him on the Project Rock. You see different things where you see now the name The Rock on things.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be interesting, as I know maybe he makes a show like Young Rock.
He might.
You have he has Young Rock, but now you can't.
Which is a great show, by the way. If you want to watch it, go watch it. It's a good show.
It's a good story. I'll say this: the good story.
I had to say story.
The acting's decent. The portrayal of fellow wrestlers throughout his tenure as a professional wrestler, they definitely could have gone with better.
Yeah.
But don't worry, young Roman Reigns is in the show.
Exactly.
I think that's like, all of a sudden now The Rock is the head of the table.
He really is, yeah.
But
and if we get that, that'll be an interesting thing.
He also will. I wouldn't surprise me if you start seeing him pop up at more UFC events, and he's going to start making more WWE appearances. And I think this is all just a lead up until WrestleMania, where at the Royal Rumble, if Roman retains, if he probably will, to be honest, but he faces Rock at Mania for title, without title, whatever, you have that for sure.
Yeah, that seems like a really big possibility, especially with everything that's going around. You have a bunch of things that could happen with The Rock possibly showing up and confronting Roman Reigns. We've seen all of that go down over the past couple weeks or so. That's been built up. And then also, he just disappeared again. He showed up once, did the whole head of the table thing, then kind of disappeared again. But you know what? It is The Rock. He can show up whenever.
I am making a bold prediction. He is showing up number 30 at the Rumble.
You think he's showing up 30 at the Rumble?
Or he's going to make Roman's going to be cheating in the mat, and he's going to get Solo in the whatever mat, the Fatal 4-Way they have. Rock's going to come out, beat the ever living crap out of Solo, look at Roman, and then give him a rock bottom, and then Roman loses.
I don't know about that one. My prediction is Roman probably retains in the Fatal 4-Way, then Rock's music hits, he comes out, he stares down Roman Reigns, then, like you said, he rock bottoms him, and then that's it. Then you set that up from there.
True. I don't know if I would want to see
the title at this point. I don't think it's right for Roman to drop the title at this point, because for a guy like Roman, he is a big name. The only place that seems fit is Mania.
But even then, the shock factor. Rock comes out, screws Roman over from the title. He doesn't even have to get pinned. Keep that in mind. He can still end up strong without getting pinned.
That's true.
You
got 3 other guys who can take a pin here.
WWE is in such a good spot, and I've been kind of saying this for a little since kind of the build up, and you have faces who can honestly anyone can win against Roman.
You can have a lot of people.
You have the AJ Styles, who is ripped, hot. He's hot right now. He's big.
He's good.
He's really on fire right now. You have Randy Orton, who's returned and is kind of still looking to look for that championship, that final championship.
Yep.
Beat
got LA Knight.
Yeah, you got LA Knight. Yeah, who's naturally gained. A lot of people were saying, "Oh, I remember seeing a lot of people saying, oh, he's not as big as he was," and then you go and you watch a SmackDown. All of a sudden, he's getting the biggest pop still of the night. People are still saying, yeah. People are still saying LA Knight. Yeah, there's so many. There's so much like around him. He is still growing. He's still making these appearances, pulling views. You have The Rock potentially coming back on Raw. You have Seth Rollins, who's hurt.
Cody.
You have Cody Rhodes, CM Punk, Drew McIntyre. You have so many. There hasn't been this many options since the Attitude Era, maybe Ruthless Aggression.
Ruthless Aggression, there was a lot of options because it was really time to step up.
But at the same time, you had the same options. It was either
now you have so many.
Yeah, but Ruthless Aggression, it was the same options. You had Punk, or not Punk. You had Cena, Triple H, Orton, Edge. That's about it. Attitude Era, you had your Austin, Rock, Triple H, Jericho, Angle. Who else was like Eddie Guerrero? You had Brock. Yeah, you had so much to work with. Vince, he's in, but there was so much to work with then, and there's so much to work with now that you are getting to a point where anyone can win, and that's what
anybody can.
That's what they're pushing right now with that Fatal 4-Way, is that there's almost too much that they don't know what to do. So throw them all in the match, roll a die, say, okay, give them a number 1 through 4. Number 3 wins. Okay, whoever's got number 3 wins the match. You can't choose. They're all great options.
They really are, because you have the story with all 3 of the challengers, and even then, you still can't count out Roman Reigns because it's Roman Reigns.
Roman Reigns is as funny as it is saying that he's become a part-timer. I don't know if he's a part-timer. I think he's there. I believe he's there every night. I believe he's helping out with the creative. I believe he's not like Brock Lesnar, who shows up for 3 weeks, goes home. I have a feeling he's there helping out younger talent. I have behind the scenes, out of character. But in character, he doesn't need to be there all night. He's the cocky bad guy.
He's a special attraction. That's the point.
Yeah, he doesn't need to always be there.
Why do you think they have the bloodline? Solo, Jimmy, Paul. That's there. And then when they mess up, that is when Roman makes his appearance.
And everyone's saying he's a part-timer. No, he's not. He's not at home doing nothing. He's out. He's he might not be on TV as much, but I believe he's still backstage helping out talent. I still believe he's backstage pitching ideas. I still believe this. It wouldn't surprise me much if Roman pitched the idea for the Fatal 4-Way.
I would not be surprised.
Roman understands star power. He's been, these guys have been in the business so long that they all understand star power. Roman is at the height of John Cena back when he was the PG Cena, if not higher.
The Cena wins, lol, all that.
The Golden Shovel Triple H, he is at that height.
So he knows.
There's so much for him to quote unquote lose. And if he wanted to become a part-timer, he would legitimately drop the title.
He need to drop the title and do what he wants to do outside of it. He's got a Hollywood opportunity right there because The Rock exists.
Yeah. There's so much that has gone on with him where it's you have, you play in the storylines, you play in the kayfabe. Yeah, oh my God, he's so bad. He's not here all the time and blah, blah, blah. There's so much where you just sit there and you go, well, I see it. I think that's also where I play into kind of liking the heels a little more than the baby faces.
Exactly, that's kind of the point.
I think I'm always the one to try to kind of cheer for the bad guy, even though no one's cheering for him. Unless it's like Austin Theory. Great performer. I just don't like Austin Theory because I don't like Austin Theory. I think he's still a great performer.
They're all great performers. Everybody there, great performance with what they do.
I guess we can move on from that yap about the little tangent. We have Kushida Okada.
Kazuchika
Is that
Okada.
I can't read, apparently.
That's fine. Kazuchika Okada. For those of you who don't know who Kazuchika Okada is, if you are a wrestling fan and you don't know who Kazuchika Okada is, you are missing out. Oh my goodness, this man is mental. Man's insane.
I've heard he's really
You take like prime Shinsuke Nakamura, like when he was good in Japan, you double that by you triple that, and that's Okada.
Yeah, I've heard he's good.
He's
nuts.
Been there for ages, doing a whole lot in his career, and now after I think it's like 12 years being in New Japan Pro Wrestling, the company over in Japan, he is now leaving New Japan Pro Wrestling. And all signs are pointing to one of two places, WWE or AEW.
Apparently he's already basically signed with WWE. That's what I've heard, is that he's basically signed.
Basically signed with WWE. But we don't know that yet.
Until it breaks.
Thank you to all the people.
Right now. Oh. I just clicked on Twitter hoping that I would see that it broke on Twitter.
He's just hoping he might have just showed up already.
It didn't break on Twitter.
No, it didn't.
Right now. Oh. No, apparently the claim the reports of Okada to WWE and NXT are premature at this stage. This was 2 hours ago. So, I don't know about that. What is another wrestling thing that we could talk about? There's been so much that has happened. Can we talk about that Raw segment, the promo between Punk and
Cody?
Cody. That is the perfectly booked babyface promo battle ever.
And the best part about it is that right there is just a back burner if Seth Rollins can't make it to Mania. It's just the back burner if Seth can't make it to Mania. And they pull out that.
Yeah. And
what?
It's insane what you can have when I think a lot of people underestimate the babyface rivalry.
because you think of the babyface versus heels, and you think that as like the proper rivalry between babyface and heel. The babyface tries to fight back, and sometimes the heel will win, but then overall the babyface will triumph and all that type of thing.
Unless you're Cody
But you never
Rhodes.
really look at
to finish the story.
unless you're Cody Rhodes. Yeah. Unless do that. But babyface versus babyface is a whole different aspect. But you never really see as much.
So Punk comes back, Survivor Series, babyface. We kind of already knew that. The only time he kind of faced a heel was Seth, but even Seth was Seth was still kind of playing a babyface. Then you have his promo with Drew McIntyre. With who else was there? I'm trying to remember the when he came back. You had a bunch of.
He's been doing that.
Yeah, you've had a bunch of promo.
Drew.
Yeah, Drew. You had a bunch of promos with a bunch of other people, and it's like, okay, we're cooking.
It's good. It's good. But then you get Cody. Two legitimate world title contenders. And they go at it.
Yeah.
That
blue collar worker versus the actual CM Punk. Best back and forth. And for those who do not know, go watch the promo. Basically, Punk came out firing. He didn't come out he was first, and then Rhodes came out and yada yada. But he came out firing first with my dad. You know, your dad played a blue collar worker, but my dad was actually a blue collar worker, and I had to fight to get in this business and blah blah blah. So that makes me the real American dream. Cody started firing back, saying, "You left. You're the one who, promised all of this, and then you left and you dropped the torch, and I was the one to pick it up and do what you said. So that makes me the real CM Punk."
You get all that type of stuff in there.
Those are two completely clean babyface back and forths. Might I add?
You even make a reference in there where Punk is talking about how, like, Cody is this big name right there, and then he's coming back to steal Cody's spotlight, which is literally a reference to when The Rock showed up and took Punk's moment when he was world champion.
Yeah.
And then you throw the layer on, The Rock's actually there.
No, it's
layers upon layers, and oh my gosh.
You also have, like, the pipe bomb being referenced, and then all you see is CM Punk take the little mic cover off and toss it out, and now he's just holding, and it's, you can see the shift into, I respect you, but I don't like you, and the whole dynamic, and you did this wrong, and you lied about this, and they're going back and forth. It's a clean argument. There's the real digs, but there's nothing bad. And then you have, like, first off, I'm gonna say Tony Khan is kicking himself. He is punching the air right now because you had two amazing professional wrestlers in the room at the same time, and you still didn't let them introduce each other. It is insane what he ruined. And then you have them come over to WWE, which, by the way, that whole storyline, the whole Punk versus, you left WWE, then you left WWE, and then guess what? Now, go back. You're leaving the company you started. You lost it. You had that chance. It's anyways, so having that, long and the short, having a babyface rivalry isn't the worst idea.
It's not, because when you put something like that, makes it good.
Yeah.
And if that is what we get, if we get Punk and Cody, whether it's for the world title or not, I am game for it. I am game for that. If Seth can't make it to Mania, which I do hope he does. Yes. Rest up, Seth.
Rest up. Actually,
get better soon.
During that promo with Seth, it's really rare seeing. During the promo with Seth, Gunther came out. Gunther.
The ring general.
Gunther. You also have to, like, strain your neck every time. Gunther.
The ring general.
Gunther. He came out And it is really rare to see heels who are supposed to be these straight-faced, don't let anything through the cracks, no respect, no appreciation for anything other than themselves, come out and show respect and show not only like show respect for the wrestler, but also show respect for the wrestler's history. And that is what Gunther came out last night and did. It's really rare to see that. Really cool, might I add, but really, really rare.
But then he can snap right back into character right afterwards.
Yeah, and then he says he's gonna take out his knee. But it was just something that I saw, and I'm like, that is such a cool little thing where he can go, I respect you, but I'm still gonna break your kneecap again. All right, I need your opinion on this one. I think we can do one more little thing, and then a little shorter episode. But with wrestling, there's only so much you can talk about within a time frame.
I have something at the end anyway,
Sweet.
So we'll go.
My question is, what is your opinion on wrestlers declaring for the Royal Rumble? Because I have an opinion on it.
Oh, this opinion,
and we might have a little agreement or disagreement with this one.
Okay, when it comes to wrestlers declaring for the Royal Rumble, this is my opinion. Don't flame me in the comments. So when it comes to declaring for the Royal Rumble, I'm fine with it if it's a small amount, like what they're doing currently, where they have like a few people who are declaring for the Royal Rumble. They have like I think 5 or 6.
No,
for
it's
the
up
men's
to like
Rumble,
at least 10 now,
or something like that. It's not as much as they normally do. So when it's a small few that declare for the Rumble, I'm fine with that because you gotta have some people there. You gotta have some of the big names. You gotta draw it a bit, but don't have like 2/3 of the Rumble being declared for the Rumble because then that takes away from it.
I think that declaring for the Royal Rumble is the dumbest thing ever. You have your okay, yeah, they're in the Rumble. Okay, yeah, they're in the Rumble. Okay, yeah, they're like the obvious ones. But you don't need them to go, I am entering the Royal Rumble. And it's like, okay, we thought you were entering anyways. You have someone like who's not as high on the card, like Ricochet, saying, I am declaring myself for the Royal Rumble. Okay. We know they need filler spots. We like you. You're going to do some cool flips. But we don't need to know that. I think it is just the dumbest thing ever when you can say, I am declaring for the Royal Rumble, even though that I'm not going to win it. Okay. And I think they need to... They have the talent where they don't need to do returns, but I think there needs to be like some big returns and some big debuts and like make it entertaining where it's like big moment, small moment, big moment, where it's all about the big moments. But having half your roster declare saying that I'm joining the Royal Rumble kind of just puts the, and you go, oh, they're still in the company? That's what you're supposed to do on Royal Rumble Day. Anyways, we'll end with yours.
Okay, so one thing that I wanted to talk about specifically is during the Royal Rumble commercials, and this one might be interesting because there was a bunch of people that were talking during the Royal Rumble commercials and all that, and saying, "Hey, like this is the Royal Rumble. It's a great event. We get all these people who have been in past Rumbles, and they were talking about how it's a great event." And then we get Hulk Hogan. Mr. Hulk Hogan making a little appearance. What you gonna do? He's saying like the Rumble's a big thing. I've had my experiences with Rumbles before. It's a great thing. But the best part about it is the surprises. You never know who's gonna be there. You never know. Points to himself. I might just have one more run left in me. What is your thoughts on that?
Not happening. Not happening. He is...
No.
It is... If he does, it is going to be like the Ric Flair final match where it looks like he was a wrestler. He can't do his big. He can't lift his leg high enough to kick someone higher than as taller than Rey Mysterio. He can't do a leg drop because his spine will break in half. You can't have him do unless he goes in, kind of does a little hulking up thing, and then gets tossed out. But you can't have him do. I don't even know if you're. Oh yeah, you're moving. You can't have him do any like big things. It doesn't work like that. I think it's just to draw views. Like, oh, Hulk Hogan might be in it. Oh, now I never know who's going to be in it. Unless I see that unless I see that he declares, not happening. Now that I say that, it's probably going to happen, but it's one of those things where it's like, well, cool.
Yeah. But yeah, Royal Rumble is coming up. That is on Saturday. There's 4 matches confirmed for it right now. There's the Fatal 4-Way that we talked about earlier. Roman Reigns versus LA Knight versus Randy Orton versus AJ Styles for the Undisputed Universal Championship.
Yeah.
There's that. There is Kevin Owens versus Logan Paul for the United States Championship.
My heroes. My Canadian.
I think that could be
my hero.
Logan Paul versus Kevin Owens.
By Prime.
Your hero, Logan Paul.
By Prime.
The women's Royal Rumble and the men's Royal Rumble. Those 4 matches have been confirmed as of now for the Royal Rumble.
I think that the Logan Paul Kevin Owens match is probably going to steal the show.
It's going to slap.
I'm going to say this. As much hate as Logan Paul does get from the WWE universe,
the man's good.
He's got insane talent. And I don't care what you say about he's
talent.
I don't care what you say about his past things with boxing and Crypto Zoo. You can take that away. It's like how you can take away the instant the bad PR around musicians and like their music. It's the same thing you can do with wrestling. He's a great wrestler. He is a great professional wrestler. And that does come from his wrestling background. And he and Kevin Owens, who is also another amazing performer, amazing professional wrestler, will steal the show.
It's going to be a great match. That one's going to be so good. Roman, LA Knight, Randy Orton, AJ Styles, that could go dummy. Yeah. It could go insane for that match. If they book it right.
If
they book it right.
There needs to be weapons. There needs to be violence. If it's like back and forth, and then somebody, and it gets there needs to be like near death experiences to make it good.
And like you got the talent to do it.
Stack a bunch of tables up, throw someone through it. Who's dominant? Who's AJ Styles who's willing to go through the table? Who's willing to be chucked over the top rope? AJ Styles through a bunch of tables. Who's gonna get the chair and start smack? So many options you can do with a Fatal 4-Way match. No DQ, full send.
And then there is the obvious that they will do.
Then Solo's going to come in, ruin it, and Roman's going to win. I think this is actually, I'm going to bring this topic up real quick. I think there should be like a VAR system in wrestling where the referee has the chance to determine if the wrestler, where the wrestler wants to challenge the win because maybe they got their foot up before the 3 count. Ref didn't see it. Challenge to see, and then they go to review and they make the decision. There could be so many things that are overturned by a call, and people are going to be like, well, it should have. Yeah, like an NHL MLB thing where it's like, oh, Roman Reigns wins the match because Solo is holding down whoever's hand. He's holding down my hand. I want to challenge that. He challenges it. All of a sudden, they see he was holding down the hand. Match restarted. Roman can still win. But if you lose a challenge, you can't wrestle for the championship or have any contact. There needs to be some sort of penalty around it if you lose a challenge, where you can't wrestle for a championship in, over the span of 20 days, 10 days.
It would be an interesting thing. I could see that like working for some guys. I could see like Gunther that ain't getting out. He could use that to efficiency,
right?
If that works. Miz, Grayson Waller, Austin Theory, R-Truth because it's R-Truth, and that man's awesome.
Right, but if you're like
so many that
if you're real slick with it, and there's cameras, you can someone like Gunther who can maybe get his guys to curl around a hand where the cameras can't really see what they're doing, and they can't overturn the call because there's no conclusive evidence, and so Gunther keeps his title, something like that. But you can only use it in like championship matches.
Yes,
because
then
or like number one contender matches. Where
because if you use it for everything, that's boring. It gets annoying. Yeah. That's a lot.
Where it can lead into a championship, like something like that. I think that's good. I think we've had some great conversations.
Yeah. I think there's going to be some big things to talk about, especially once the Royal Rumble does happen. Tune in Saturday. That's going to be a crazy day.
Not on USA Network. On Netflix.
On USA on Netflix. Yeah.
On Netflix. Thank you guys so much for watching. So much for watching, listening, wherever you are. Consider subscribing, following, wherever you're from, wherever you're looking, wherever you're watching. Don't be looking at my... Is there anyone looking out my window? No. Snow. It's actually just snowing. I'm looking out your window, Ryan. Anyways, so if if you like this podcast and you are really interested, consider hitting that epic follow button, subscribe button, whatever it is down below. Check out our links in the description, and maybe check out some other things on the Concession Stand Network. There's also the Concession Stand podcast, so I'm on that too. If you want to hear my other sports talks, check out the Let's Talk Tendies podcast, where you just hear me yap. We actually have an episode of this coming out. It would be technically tomorrow, actually. I think it's coming out. So, tomorrow of this is when we're recording. I'm pretty sure this will go up tonight, but tomorrow, if it comes out the 23rd, today, if it comes out the 24th. Anyways, that's it from us. Anything else, Ryan? Well, that's it for me, at least.
Nothing else. Royal Rumble's going to be interesting. I'm excited. I'll be watching it. And if we can get the chance, we will come back. We will talk about the Royal Rumble because that's a thing to talk about. It's pay-per-view. It's going to be great.
If you are interested and you have a topic you want us to cover or a story you want us to talk about, put it down in the comments. Put it down. I'll put it in the thing. Anyways, thank you. Subscribe. Follow. We'll see you guys in the next one. Ding, ding, ding. We need an outro for this thing, but ding, ding, ding.